Pay attention, Brian. I'm going to show you actually how to do the layout of the stringers. So start where, you know, cut your flawed end off. That's quality control. I just make a little tick here on the first rise, which technically is not really the rise. Here's the first run. That's the ticket right there. So here's where we're starting. Now, I take my square, put it on there, line it up with that little tick I made. Boom. That's actually the back of the stringer now. This is where we start. All this is garbage. Because I'm going to be removing 1.5 inches from here to put a 2x8 framing tread on, this happens to be 1.5 inches wide, so I just line that up there. Cut this out. Here's where we take our hypotenuse jig, 4 risers. This deck is going to be the top rise, so we only need 3. So this I'm doing just to act as a barrier between me and messing this thing up. Now we know that our rise and run have to fit in between these ticks. Okay, look here. The tick is here and the tick is here. A lot of people might be confused with me using that. That is not to replace the math that we've already done. That is just to help us work inside some boundaries to make sure that we're consistent all the way. Okay, so here's 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Okay, so now we need our last rise. This is going from the frame to the finish. We need to reduce the thickness of the stair tread, of the decking, of the flooring, whatever you call it. Whatever you're using to put as the stair tread, you need to remove that thickness, okay? So mark that thickness on your square. Run down to it. Now you have an intersection there. Always use your square wherever possible to keep your lines honest. The square, you'd be surprised. You move it around, you get a lot done with it. Okay? And that's it. That's marked out. So this is garbage. This is garbage. I just want to make this clear. This is garbage. And you're going to be cutting that here. So once you take your saw, you cut this out, and now you have your stringer. You can trace it to make 6, 7, however many you need, or you can keep doing this method if you want absolute consistency. Tracing it works. Just make sure when you do trace it, you're actually cutting your line away and not cutting on the other side of your line, or else you will get, you know, a gradual change happening. Also, another tip, if you do decide to trace your stringers, choose 1 stringer, your first stringer only, and make sure you just trace that one. Don't trace your second one, don't trace your third one, because then you will go off eventually. And the other trick is make sure after you cut your first stringer, you dry fit it. Make sure it works before you trace it 8 or 9 times, because that would be catastrophic.